Well, how about those talent calls?
And he had great talent. That was probably another big swayer right there. It's like, shit, that's your roster? Well, shit, I'm working with you. Because we had the book of Polaroids.
No, but the people come in for those talent calls, remember? Mm-hmm. How great was that?
It was great.
I mean, we can talk about it because it was great. You know
yeah. I mean, I took I got a lot of videos, a lot of pictures. I got a lot of good times. Always, every time he had a talent call, it was like having a party, in the middle of the day that would stretch into the night, and then you would always end up with new talent, new girls, new pussy.
New pussy, as in how many girls might you fuck in one talent call?
Right.
How many? 1, 2, 3?
I mean, I don't know if I was. I mean, it depends on how the flow's flowing. How's it flowing? It was flowing. Sometimes it'd be flowing.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I used to walk in there. Of course, I was pretty popular in those days. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was just like. It was nice.
People, man.
Just go like that, and the girl be, hey, right?
Yeah.
Like,
she like, you want to take the clothes off? Like, sure, go ahead.
It was just like, some girls are just like, hey, let's go. It's that quick, right?
Right.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of girls I met that way.
So you doing these scenes, you come and then you work with me on the set. How did that feel? Working side by side with me?
I think, like I said, you were intense. So I knew you were going to do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, you were going to handle your business. I knew you were in good hands. Like, you're professional. And, yeah.
Did you hear my name before or no?
I mean, I knew you were different. I knew you were intense. I knew you were focused. I mean, I remember we used to have an apartment around the corner from the gyms. And that was like the first time we ever kicked that came to your apartment. You lived upstairs or whatever. And I don't know, I can't remember what we talked about, but I can tell then that you were business minded. That you knew how to perform, but you were also focused on doing things outside of that. It didn't surprise me when you started shooting your own lines and you started expanding when you got the house off of, I want to say past Topanga off the 101. I went there a few times but you were always low key about who you brought to your spot. You know what I mean? I knew that you didn't just bring anybody. And so I don't know. I had a tremendous respect for you because I think you were, when I met you, you were just like serious about it. You were serious about the ring. You were serious about focused on, the business. You liked the business. So I respected that.
Thank you. I remember we worked together one time. Well, numerous times, right? Mm-hmm. But Alex Dorenzi's, right? Mm-hmm. He said, hey, man.
All right.
Be a little cool. Be easy, right?
Right.
Be easy in the scene, right?
Right.
Because I was a maniac, but, he just said, let's try and keep the same pace or something, right?
Right.
I just high power.
Yeah, you were. Alex. Shooting for Alex, you always felt like it was always another level because they flew you to San Francisco, they put you up overnight, and they paid you premium dollar. So you knew you were focused. You're working with legends. You're working with people who are,
Yeah, you got everybody there.
Right.
Peter North, Tom Byron, Mark Wallace,
yeah.
Rocco sometimes, right? Yeah. Me.
Top girls, all the top girls.
Top girls. Yeah. So
and it's such a laid back. He wasn't really big. You would sit in your hotel room, whatever, bring you to the set. They brought you in when they needed you, when they were ready for you. And, it was like showtime. And he had such a cool aura about him. He was old as fuck. And he had that, remember that he had the camera on the stick? Yeah. And he would just, and that was his way of filming things. It was like the seeing eye. He put it in between, so you could see you pull up to the girl's face. I don't know. All of that to me was like shaping the history, really. For me, it was connecting me to the past, rooting me in the present, and pointing me towards the future. Real shit.
People might not know, they might know, but he was the creator, and the main creation behind Rosebud Films. And that started, I think, in 92. Right? And then went to probably 97 or something, or 98. Pretty much. Maybe even 99. You know?
Right.
But Alex Terenzi, as you know, or you might not know, started directing porn movies in the late 60s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you knew it. I mean, I had heard all these stories about him. You know what I mean?
And made so much money at one point in time in those days, he bought a Navy ship and sailed it around the world.
Really?
Or steamed it around the world, however it went.
Right. Wow.
You know, that's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, no, he's iconic. He was iconic. But working for him was always, you know, I had to check my emotions because it was, you know.
Oh, yeah. The pressure.
Right.
Kitchen, yeah.
Yeah. You want to do a good job. They flew you up here. They put you up. They're paying you good dollars. You're working with great talent.
Yeah.
Then,
the truth is that he would fly people and give a chance, right? And if you didn't perform, it'd be hard to come back.
oh yeah.
Hard to get that beautiful ride to Frisco.
Right.
Pretty much because afterwards, I'm sure you experienced this. You don't know how many trips do you think you went up there? How many times? Handful or more?
Yeah. A little more than a handful.
Maybe 10? Afterwards, right? It was pretty cool with the girls, wasn't it?
It was great.
I mean, you could fuck all night. Or you shouldn't, but you might. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you were away. You were out of town. You were.
Yeah.
You know.
The energy.
Right. You know, that's San Francisco was like, for me, that's like, you know, that's the porn industry. That was you know, that was like the birth of the porn industry.
One of them, New York and Frisco, because of the Mitchell brothers. You know, in 72, behind the green door, 73, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Did you ever go to the Mitchell brothers theaters?
I did. Yeah.
They let you in for free sometimes.
I don't know what they did. I just remember that I went there I was doing something. I had to do an appearance there.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's after the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as I started making a name for myself. Yeah.
Really? So you did appearance, they paid you?
Yeah.
Really? That's cool. How much they pay?
A few $100.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good night. I ended up meeting, I can't think of this damn girl's name, but I met a girl there. I told her, don't get into porn. And then maybe a month later, she was in Valley saying, hey,
Really?
getting into porn. I can't think of her name. I'll think of it I can't think of her. She ended up coming. She always tells me, she says, you told me not to do this. I know. I said I didn't. And she ended up doing it anyways. But I met her at the Mitchell Brothers.
Yeah, some of those girls would go home with you.
Yeah.
Right? They were cool. I took a couple girls home. It was great.
Yeah.
It was nice, right? That must have been later. Was that in the 2000s or something that you did that?
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000.
Yeah, something like that, right? That'd be, yeah.
Yeah.
Because...
I can't remember, but I just remember it was like, late 90s actually, because I was out there because I did a radio show. A friend of mine brought me out there for a radio show. She was like, you remember, I don't know, you've been in LA, Diana Steele, you know her? She used to do like 92 The Beat. She was cool as fuck. She used to always hook me up with radio interviews and stuff. Mainstream shit, yeah.
Well,
So that's why I was back. I was in Frisco for that, and then I went by the Mitchell Brothers, and then we did like some kind of event. It was a bunch of us. But I remember, yeah.
Bunch of actors?
Yeah, yeah.
Why'd they call me? I'm just kidding. I was so busy, doing all over.
You were making money, bro. Yeah. You was shooting your shit.
Oh, I always hustling, but working with me on the sets. Do you see anybody ever keep up with me? Who could keep up with me?
I think the only you were on another level, but you remember Dave Hardman? I thought if anybody, Dave could do anything in any circumstances, but you could do it on a higher level. You know what I mean? Like you were gonna. I remember you would tell me about Jenna Jameson and. Jay, when every time Jay would fail or he couldn't because they were a couple, they would call you, and you would come in and you would stunt and knock that shit out.
But Dave Hartman wasn't really in great cardio shape.
No, Dave wasn't. Dave was not you. Okay. I'm just saying, like you could, as far as performing with no issues, like not having, you weren't, the crew couldn't trip you up, the girl wouldn't trip you up. You were just.
But Rocco was great.
Rocco was always on another level. Nacho, you were similar to Nacho. Jake Steed, Jake Steed, Nacho, Rocco, yeah.
I don't think Jake had the passion, really. The high level passion, I didn't think.
Nah, not.
It was electrifying, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the energy.
That's but that's the difference. With you, you got the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never, failed, ever.
Nah, but as far as anybody can keep up with you and go the distance, nah.
Anyways, so you come in, right, Marcus? There's really not.
Was that for the ego? The ego.
Yeah. Well, I let people to know because they forget sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta let them know.
Listen, they don't know out there in the real world
that
nobody could fuck with me. You know what I mean? I used basically smash everybody in the ground that came near me, working not intentionally, but just the way it was. Right?
You know what? Because I would listen to the interview you did with Jim. I was because you let out a lot of things. You like reassurance. Reassurance. Like, yeah, it's good, right? I think your videos speak for it. Your accomplishments speak for it. You've been through a lot of shit. You're a fan of it. You become a historian. It's actually historic what you're doing, taking in the conversations with a lot of, people who've been around. I know you talked to Mike John, Lex, and, Peter North, Sean Mike. I mean, these are iconic figures when the industry was very small and it was just, we consider ourselves family. It was way before the internet companies came in and really changed the dynamic of the industry. You were dealing, when you go to the award show, you just saw a small group of people that were your friends.
Yeah,
love. You go back to their hotel room, you go back to the bar, you go to wherever. But it was like you'd be passing each other in the hallways and saying, I'll see you next week on the set, or you're available next week, or we're shooting tomorrow. It was that conversation. It wasn't through a text message, it wasn't through cell phone. It was, we talked to each other face to face, hand to hand. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was a different time.
A once in a lifetime, like I say all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't think it will ever come back. We're lucky. I feel lucky. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To be part of it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think in the fact that I met you, the way I met you, that's why I say it's ironic. I'm sitting here talking to you, 26 years later, 25 years later. But, we survived, went through a lot of shit. We've seen a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a lot of shit.
And now we have experience and knowledge to share with other people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I throw a little bit of 2 cents in here and there, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let people know. Mm-hmm. It's the porn puzzle. And if anybody cares enough, they can listen and understand it. You know what I mean? So, and I also like to get your train of thought. What are you thinking? You know what I mean? At this point in time. Yeah. So right now you're in the business. I'm just going to go say this. You're in the business. There's not that many black actors that are doing good then. It's just not what's going on. It's a different time today. Right. So you have Julian, you have Shawn Michaels, you have Jake Seed. Those are pretty much the actors that are working. How did you get along with all of them?
I got along with everybody. I got along great with, obviously, Shawn. Loved Julian. Me and him had the same birthday. Me and Jake, we were cool, but I don't think he liked me. You know what I mean? I don't think, because I gave him shit. Because he would get me. Because I gave him shit because he got the gig with
Ed Powers.
Ed Powers.
That was at the beginning, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Yeah, and he was just getting all the work, and I was like.
You think he was getting all the work?
Well, I think, because for me, it was always about, I liked the new girls because they weren't jaded. They weren't porned out. The experience was going to be, organic. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the right word, but it wouldn't be, it would be natural. It wouldn't be that acting. Mm-hmm. And I guess I can say I was jealous because I wanted it. But I think because I was black, I think with Edwin was, he wanted a big dick dude, but what he got a big dick dude that didn't look black to some of the girls. And I pointed that out And he was offended. He got pissed and shit. He was like, fuck you, I paid my dues. I've been through this shit. I'm black as fuck and they all know it. And I was like,
oh, really?
Yeah, he got pretty mad at me. But I feel like because we were talking, we did an interview for AVN. They were talking about the future of black.
Really? What year was this?
Shit, I don't know.
Is this when he had his own stuff going on?
Yeah, I mean, he was already off doing his thing. He was.
So this is 99 or something.
Maybe.
99 because he worked with Ed Powers in the early 90s, right? Like 89, 90.
No, I mean because I was around. I didn't come in until 94. So him and Ed were up and going about 98, 99, maybe 2000.
Probably to 97. By 97, I think. Maybe 98. Maybe
98.
Maybe he disassociated himself with him.
Right.
But you're right. He did stay with him off and on for a long time.
Yeah.
But he didn't always get to love, and he felt like he wasn't loved a lot. You know what I mean?
Well, but he was. I mean, because people would always, and I'll say this, people always ask me about Jake to this day.
Yeah.
What happened to Jake? What happened to Jake? Jake's the big mystery. Is where'd he go?
And everybody knows I know.
Right. I mean, I got an idea. I mean, I talked to his brother, whatever. I mean, I keep in contact with everybody, but Jake was. But what I got from Jake, when I seen him at the East Coast Video Show, he was walking around and he had a notepad. He had like several notepads, paper was everywhere. He needed a briefcase or something, but he was carrying around and I was like, what is that? He says, this are all the buyers. These are all the contacts for the buyers, and these are the orders and stuff. Because he was coming out with his own line of movies. And I seen him doing all of that before he actually launched. You know what I mean? And I saw that he was hitting the ground running. And he had access to all the, and he handled his business. He had good relationship with Jim, Ed Powers. They were always recruiting and discovering new girls. So he was sitting in a place where, I wanted to sit. I wanted to shoot. I wanted the new girls. I wanted to have my own distribution. And I saw how he was going about it. But by the time I was able to even try to do that, the industry was changing. He hit his mark. He had, cause he got a few rappers. Dr. Dre, I remember Dr. Dre put him on his, 2001.
2000 Chronic,
2000 Chronic. And I remember running into Dre at El Torito's in the Valley. That's when Dre used to go there. He don't go there anymore. But he came in there one night and he was like telling me, he says, when you see Jake, you let him know that we're going to use this clip for, I had him in the studio because Dre was a big porn fan. He had did a video with him, you think about Snoop Doggy Style. And then you got, the night that Dre moved out of his big house off the 118, he had a big old party. He invited me and Lex there, and it was that was Dre. So he loved Jake, and Jake was already iconic in the hood. You know what I mean? Because he was doing
his way up, yeah.
Yeah. Because what was the name of his line?
Freak, hoes, and flows.
Freaks, flows, and hoes.
Freak, hoes, and flows.
Right, freak, flows, and hoes.
Freaks, hoes, and flows.
Yeah. And he was rapping, which rappers loved. You know what I mean? He was making his own beats. He had Yuck Mouth. He had
Yuck Mouth?
I think it was Yuck Mouth. Yeah, he had him up. He had a few rappers up in his videos. I mean, that's iconic shit. That's next level shit. That's that was a game changer for our industry because rappers felt like they had somebody that they can connect with, they can relate to. Yeah. Same with you. I know you had a few rappers in yours, they love the Blackstreet Hookers. They love all that shit.
Yeah, I had so many titles. The people always remember Blackstreet Hooker. Some people say it, but all the titles in my arsenal from Evasive Angles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not. I had movies that cost me $45,000 a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I remember you did a Roots. You did a Roots.
Oh, I did Roots. I did Sanford and Son, Good Times, right. Different Strokes. The Barbershop.
Why do you? What I want to know what was it about black culture? Because I think it's black culture that you.
I wouldn't say it was black culture. I would say that the parodies were going on. So I said, all right, I'll make parodies too. You know what I mean? And I'm not doing white product really. And Basic Beatles doesn't do white product.
Right.
It's black actors, pro black actors, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to make parodies that go along with what I'm doing. What I started the company with, I liked black girls, started with Black Street Hookers, you know?
That goes back to...
Yeah, 96. I liked the black girls, like, you know, Mike Rubenstein said, you want to start a movie? I said, no, you can do black girls. I said, good, because there's no black girls, right? So I said, okay, let me do it. But I also did Asian Street Hookers. I did ATN Nasty for that hot Latin pussy. I pioneered Latin pussy in Colombia, right? And so, I mean, it wasn't just all black culture, but then I liked the black girls, and then it seemed to me like, you know, the black actors were better for the movies that was working for me to sell them. I don't know. You know, maybe I got along with the black actors better. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes it's weird. I don't know. I just, I wouldn't really call it. It just worked that way. You know what I mean? It just,
was it something when you were younger, or did it come when you got into the business?
No, but I like black girls. You know what I mean? You know, I like that.
Yeah, because I grew up around Mexican girls. Yeah. And I like Mexican girls. I grew up in, my babysitter was Spanish. You know, my neighbors were Spanish. And my first crush, Irene Hernandez, she was Spanish. You know what I mean? That was what I was drawn to. Yeah. But when I got into the business, you know, they had me working with a lot of white girls. The interracial was popping. You know, the black girls, you know, to this day, there's not that many black girls that really, you know, you got a handful, but we went through a phase, you know, when you were shooting and you and Jake were shooting and Woodburn shooting, and that was a strong group of black girls that were like constantly it's not that way now at all, but that was a substantial amount of black product being created. Right. Yeah.
I made a lot of black product. I don't think everybody knows it.
No,
I mean, I don't think they really know, because a lot of people think TTBoy, really, a lot of people think TTBoy is just an actor, but, you know, I went on to create Evasive Animals. So I have 1,600 titles, you know, a monster company releasing 20 movies a month, you know what I mean? Or more, you know what I mean, sometimes.
Right.
And so, you know, bigger than most companies, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you were...
And nobody helped me, you know what I mean? It was only me, you know what I mean? But as far as that question, it just worked out that way, probably because I got along better with black people. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe that was it. Jake was my good buddy. I don't know, you know what I mean? I didn't...
Right. I'm just asking because, you know, the black ownership was always a struggle in this industry. You know what I mean? Like brothers, there was some East Coast cats that would start companies and put out stuff, but here on the West Coast it wasn't. You know, James from West Coast, that was it. Jake, you, Woodburn, and then later, I guess, Video Team.
But Woodburn never had his own distribution. He just was
just
part
the title.
of Devils.
Part of Devils, right.
He didn't do much. He probably had 80 or 90 or 70 or 80, right?
So why, I try, you know, when I tried starting off my own company, but you need funds, you need money to shoot, to distribute, you know, to warehouse, and you got to collect, you know, then you got to stick around. If the guys don't want to pay you, you got to stick around through, you know, different 30, 60, 90-day cycles, and then even longer in some cases. You got to get licensing deals. You have to have some kind of presence as the internet. You got to have some, you know, you got to spend money on marketing and advertising. You got to be present at these conventions. It was always a struggle to get, you know, Pinky's done well, but she doesn't get the traditional distribution deal. You know, hers is totally different. So I've always been watching it from different perspectives, how people were able to focus their energy, shoot series, keep them around for a very long time, you know, really make the real money. Because performing, you only make some money. You make, you know, I was raising a family, so I was making money, but I wasn't making nearly what I could be making, especially in that time frame. But I could never really get it going. I could never get the deal and the money flowing, you know, enough where I could sustain it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the secret, you know what I mean? One of the secrets is that I used to work sometimes 20 hours a day, you know what I mean? and I have, you know, in my 20 hours a day, sometimes I could get probably 3 or 4 times the amount of the work done a normal person could get done.
Right.
I could go to Europe and shoot 5 days almost without sleeping, without drugs, you know, just normal.
Right.
And, you know, do everything myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
And people say, how do you do that, right? You know, as an actor, I could do 4 or 5 scenes a day and have the greatest energy in the world and keep it up, you know, because my mind is strong. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason is I'm very, very good at math.
Yeah, no, you're good with money.
You know, I understand math, I understand money. Another reason is I don't like to lose. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to lose.
Right.
And, you know, when I'm given a chance, I took advantage of it. I went for it hard.
Right.
It took me time to build up my company. You know what I mean? It took years and years, you know what I mean? To build that base and slowly build up to 20 movies a month. It took 6 years, 7 years of producing and doing stuff before I built it up, you know what I mean?
Right.
6, 7 years before I made any real money. I was making money, but not, you know, real money. So all that together slowly and put yourself in positions of humiliation. I'm doing the sales myself. I go to the people.
You're doing sales?
Yeah, I do the sales myself. I call people.
Yeah.
I go to the convention.
Yeah, and I think that's where Jake, same thing. You know, I think he was inspired by your success to start his own.
Well, Jake started distributing before I did.
Oh, really?
He had his own distribution. I started shooting movies and owning them before him.
Okay.
You know, and we were going to do a partnership, but then I really wasn't ready at that point in time. I mean, he already had a vision, but I was such a liked or you know, I did so much work. What the fuck? I was enjoying the prime of my life, right?
Right.
I could work, you know, 25 days out of the month, 3 or 4 scenes a day. You know, I'm doing a lot of work, right? You know, I'm making good money, having a good time. I don't care about business, really. I just care about fucking the girls.
Right.
I was a professional porn star.
Right.
You know, I did a lot of work, right? You know
Right.
that. Tons of work.
Was it always in your plan to do your own thing?
No. Never planned it, never cared about it.
Right.
Never. I thought about it once or twice. Jake thought about it. I didn't think about it. I didn't care about it until
Right.
Mike Rubenstein approached me. And then I said,
okay.
let me try. Right?
Right.
But like I said, I didn't make much money. Mike Rubenstein's distribution wasn't that strong. You know what I mean? But I am a grinder. So I worked my ass off. Ate a lot of shit. Because, you know, I'm TTBoy at this point in time, you know. Wherever I went, it was pretty fucking good, you know what I mean? You know, and people wanted to have me on the set. So now I gotta go suck the fucking dick of the fucking people who are trying to do the sales. You know what I mean? But hey, man, kiss their ass. Who are you? They don't even know who the fuck I am. Some of these people, right? Treat you like a dog. Go to the convention. Some people that hire somebody. Some of these stores and stuff will hire people that aren't even in the business.
Industry, right.
They just be from May Company.
Right.
Who the fuck? Who are you? Right? I'm like, well, I'm Reed. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I've been here. I did thousands of movies. You don't know me? No, they don't know shit. And you got to kiss their ass, pay them sideways, which I don't even know how to pay them off yet because I'm not part of it. Like you would know how, or anybody wouldn't know how. You got to make the perfect product, pay them off just right, know the right people to talk to, keep grinding, eat a lot of shit, eat more shit, eat a bigger piece of shit.
You know what's the craziest? I wanted to do that. I wanted to get into. I just wanted to go through that shit. I wanted to call up a buyer and talk sales. I wanted to call up and say, I just shot this, and I still, I'm going to be real with you. I still feel like that's something I want to accomplish before I feel like I'm fully, you know, done what I wanted to do in the business. Like I feel like that's an unfinished business. Like I want to shoot some stuff that I feel like kind of goes back to my beginnings and the way I thought, the purity of what we were doing, the family, you know, the group settings, the family-oriented settings. Like we know each other, we cool with each other, and the sex it's not about like, you gotta do this, gotta do that for that many seconds and minutes. No, you do what you feel, it's natural, and then the viewer benefits, enjoys it, watches it, appreciates it. It's almost like it's art. That part is I feel like that's the part where I feel like I wanna go. And so when I'm asking you that, I know it was a different time, and I always seen you work hard. I've seen you work your ass off. And the few people in this industry who do have long careers. You know, they become like the pillars for other companies to build their businesses on. But I would say that, yeah, I think that as an example, that's what, you know, I want to have something established so that I can say, hey, you can do it too. You know what I mean?
That sounds good. Right, the timing, you know what I mean, of everything is important.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're at the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was lucky to love black girls.
Right.
You know what I mean? And be at a time when black product wasn't there.
Right.
Right? And believe me, I made AJ. I pretty much made Antonio. Me and Jake made Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
I made old Brian, big tall Brian. I had to do some, you know, proving of my, and Ed was part of it, you know, dark skinned Ed.
Yeah. I remember all those guys. Yeah.
I had to deal with a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, the
I was
pimps.
the main guy.
Pimps would come into the.
They always want to test me. I'm the smallest guy around. You know what I mean? So they always want to test me.
Right.
I choked out Brian. I choked out AJ. I fucking knocked out Ed
Right.
in the streets. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's dead now, but he was.
Rest in peace.
Whatever.
Ed had he used to have the funny mouth, right? Like
Yeah, but he was strong as fuck.
Yeah.
He was a big, strong guy. Anyways, I always had to do with a lot of shit, but right place, right time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And hard work.
Right.
That's it. So I don't think that's possible now, but I can tell you this. If you're going to dedicate yourself to something you love, right? And I mean, use all your intelligence, you know what I mean? All your brain power, because it seems to me like you're more of a thinker than a bullshitter, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Put in 20 hours a day, because the gods will fucking see your energy. Like the seeds you planted, they said, okay. They're there. They said, okay.
Right.
We're gonna give you it, okay? So if you would dedicate your whole soul, like I did.
Right.
One time I fell through a window because I was up 4 days in a row in Europe because I was, a little bit tired.
Right.
And I fell with a camera shooting this scene. I said, well, boom, right through the fucking window. You know what I mean? Because I stand up on a bed, you know what I mean?
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm a little bit out of it.
Right.
Pumper wants to test me because I'm tired 4 days up. You know what I mean? And I choke him out. You know what I mean? But I'm just, if you take all you and you put it on something, I can promise you'll do well, right? But you got to give more than the other guy. My father told me, you want to do good? You got to give more than the other guy. More work, more power. Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you want to win the race, you got to fucking go.
Right.
You got to beat him. You know what I mean? And you can't give up.
Right.
And sometimes it's real hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
no.
it seems impossible.
No.
What I created, you couldn't tell me I was going to create that. You know what I mean?
Nah.
I'd be like, well, sure. You know? But I mean, I was given a chance. But go ahead.
No, I hear you. Nah, and then, the times are different, and now there's new other opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my advice to you. If you want to get serious, then there's nothing else that you could become part of. Only that. And you put in every ounce you got until you fucking can't even talk. That's what sometimes I did. And people say, they say, oh, TT this, TT that, They just don't know the fucking pain that I
And
took.
the shit, right, that you gotta go through.
I went through a lot. I'm not even going to talk about it on camera.
No, I got you.
You know what I mean?
I got
All
you.
kinds of haters. And I'm sure you've heard things over time, hatred. But anyways, so it's about you right now. I give you that piece of advice,
Appreciate it.
Just for
Appreciate it.
But as far as the black, it just, maybe I got along with black actors more. I don't know. No, for sure the black girls,
Yeah, the black, you love the black, you love the black girl.
But I mean, I was hanging out with Jake. Sometimes I hang out with some white guys, and I was kind of aggressive. So if I'm down someplace and you're not down with me,
Right.
then I can't really hang out with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if we're gonna be
Right.
fighting, fucking girls fighting, in the streets. Me and Jake did some fighting in the streets.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't hang out with you. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You know what I mean? But in any case, it was a good time, lucky time for me. That's the way it is. You know what I mean? And I put in tons of creativity into my company. I mean, I made Mothers and Daughters. I put orgies to life, you know?
Yeah, I remember. I think the last time I shot for you, it was an orgy, and all the girls, everybody was cool. Yeah.
I have, you don't know my library, but I mean, I probably have 250 to 300 titles of original names, you know, just names, and you know, go along with interesting ideas. You know, so much more diverse than pretty much anybody.
Would you invest in other people?
No, because you want to know why? Because over my experience of doing business with other people, nobody is going to work as hard as you for your money. That's the way it is. You know what I mean? Because it's your money, and it's hard to get, so only you know, at the end of the day, you know, is the person who's going to do the most for your money.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
No, I see. Yeah,
I mean, it's a big deal, your money.
I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's like, you know.
Right. No, I hear you.
So you know, in the day, Jim South, you know, he's like a person for me, like you're watching him. He's such an important person to business. Yeah. And I always want people to know, you know what I mean, when I can, with people that do know him. I try to bring him up and try and relate his greatness. You know what I mean?
Right. Do
you feel that way to you, that he was great? That he was so important to this business? What do you feel about Jim South in your heart?
I love him. I love him because he's, I mean, I spent like 8 years, about 8 years sharing an office space with him. And we used to sit, I liked the holiday season because, you know, he'd shut down like a few days before Christmas, and he'd just be sitting in there, you know, on his phones or doing his books, you know what I mean? He'd have, when he brought the TV in, he'd have the game playing or something. And we just would have conversations. I would talk to him about my family. I would talk to him about the business, talk to him about his family. And I just liked having those conversations with him because sometimes I would be going through some really heavy shit. And, you know, I just needed to talk to somebody. And he'd talk, he'd listen. And he wouldn't, you know, and I think I watched him he had to make some changes because I remember, you know, me and him always had this racial thing going.
What thing?
Racial. Oh, like we would talk race. Like he'd call himself honky. Oh, you don't work with the honkies? You about to go mess with some honkies? And I'd be like, I don't know who talks like that because I don't, but that was his way of like trying to, you know, break the ice. And I remember when the girls would come in, they fill out the little cards, and on the card, he would always put, if they didn't do interracial, he would put no blacks. And I would see this, and it would just drive me crazy because I would say, and you're like subliminally, you're not. It's like a whole race. You're not saying she'll work with some real cool people, you know, or, you know, will give it a chance or will present, but it said no blacks. And I hated seeing that because I'd see these Polaroids and she does this, and they say no blacks. So I said, Jim, you can't write that. That's just not going to work. It segregates, it stereotypes. You don't know, you know. You're just excluding a whole group of people because of their skin color. And he said, well, what should I put? And I said, well, you know, it's interracial. So maybe they do interracial. Maybe they don't do interracial. And so I said, you can ask them that, you know, if they do interracial, which can be anything. Because if you think about the industry, it's interracial, blacks or Asians and white, that's interracial. You know, we play into interracial. We play interracial when we name these movies. You know what I mean? Black this, black that, white this. You know, it plays into all these you know, our sexual fantasies, these fetishes. So he understood. It took him because I know he's from Texas. I know he's from, you know, it's different down there. But I was just like, these girls, you can't think for them, you know, give them choices, give them that choice, you know, because there may be girls who want to do it. They just feel like they have to tell you no. because they may feel like they're being judged or something. So I think once we had that conversation, there was an understanding. You know, I was just trying to educate them how I see it and how other people could see it. And but I was just an advocate for the business. You know, I wanted the same opportunities everybody else had. I didn't want to be limited or segregated because of, you know, who I was or how I looked. And we'd had those conversations. We had conversations about Jim Jr., his son. Me and his son, obviously, you know, I always looked out for him because I figured that was his, you know, I wanted Jim Jr. to take on the business aspect of the industry, you know, understand his dad's influence. Look at the amount of talent you got coming in here. You know, they didn't even have an internet. They didn't have a web page. I had to go get a friend of mine to help him build the page.
Really?
Yeah. They built the page. I'm not sure how the page looks now, but if you look, you know, it was like it took them a few weeks, so they had to get all the pictures scanned in.
Longer than that.
Yeah, it took a while. It took a long time, but you know, finally they were able to get a website up, and you know, I care for the dude. I wanted to see him go into the new century with, you know, keeping up with the competition. Because remember, he'd close from like for lunch for 2 hours. You couldn't get him from like 11 to 1. Or 12 to
1:30.
12 to 1:30. Couldn't get him. On the weekends, you know, he didn't have a weekend service. So the girls would go out. You know, that's why I think Spiegler was able to do really well, because Spiegler was really hands-on. He would show, in the beginning, he used to take the girls himself to set, but he worked the hours that Jim didn't work. You know, all of those things, you know, being around for that long and just seeing, you know, I don't know if he ever saw it that way, but I was always like trying to look out for him, trying to like, what can I do to help you, you know, be successful. So, yeah.
Let's talk about the other side of Jim South's office. The good stuff, right? The great stuff.
Right.
How wonderful was he and free was he with, you know, with putting a word in saying this is a good guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
that's true.
Right?
That's true, because that made a difference. Because the girls were always like, they needed his approval. If he approved, then it was all good.
And I seen you.
Oh yeah.
Numerous times. So many times. Matter of fact, I would think that it's possible that we were competing for the same girls numerous times when they first come in.
I was thinking about something on the way over here, and we have. I came by I was coming, because you had an office, your office right next to him. I had a little office. Yeah. We all in the same little hallway.
Later on, you got my office.
Right, I got you.
You made it nice.
Right. I brought some flavor to it. But you were moving on to bigger and better things anyways, too. So, but you had this girl, or this white girl, and you were fucking the shit out of her. So I come out of gyms, and all I can hear is her heavy breathing. I'm like, this motherfucker fucking shit out of her. And so I go in my office, and I'm in there, and I can still hear all of it going on. You know,
I was smashing, huh?
You were smashing. It was like in the middle of the day, so there's nobody else in the building. It's just us. You know, Jim's in his office, and he doesn't ever come out of there until it's time to go home. And finally, you're done with this girl, and then you're like, you gotta meet her, you gotta check her out. And I was like, so she comes into my office, and no lie, man, she's got her hair all over her face, her makeup is running, her eyeliner's all off her face and shit. And I'm like, and I'm looking at her, she's looking at me like, are you next? Like, it was kind of like, is it your turn? And I was just like, and I don't know what it was. I said, you know what? Tell this girl to go, because TT just fucked the shit out of her. And she looks done. She looks so done. Like, just go ahead. I took a picture of her.
Oh, yeah? I
got pictures of her because I just thought it was so funny because her makeup's all and she just sitting there like she just got her life fucked out of her. I was like, that TT boy.
Yeah. I used to fucking pull the energy right out of him.
Dude, you was bananas. And I think I'd get a girl before you got her, and you get a girlfriend.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, the girls, we were kind of similar stature, similar height, in good shape, young, you know what I mean? And the girls I mean, we were talking, we were there. We were there talking to him more than anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was pretty much, the girls that came into Jim South's office, sometimes they were there to have some fun, right?
That or the work right away. You know, they wanted to work immediately. Like sometimes they needed money that day. They needed, you know.
And or both, right?
Right.
So just sometimes they want to have fun.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, I saw girls, you know, like we would drink sometimes, you know what I mean? Smoke weed, you know, kick it, talk for a little bit. And if shit happened, shit happened. If they wanted to shoot some POV or something, you know, I'd always cut them a check. I feel like that was the one thing, you know, I wanted to get a model release, get the IDs. If I'm gonna film it, that anything sexual is gonna happen. I mean, my checkbook was, I mean, I cut checks because I was just like, I wanted them first. I wanted that experience. I wanted them to have a good experience. I wanted to, you know, I wanted to have it in the can. Because you never knew. Because these girls would come. They come in for the minute and, you know, their mind is on it, you know. And then probably when they leave, it's like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember sometimes, I said, I want that girl. You just snatched her up right by coming in the office and walking. Oh, man. Right?
I got you a few times, man.
Yeah.
But you got me a few times, too, though.
I probably got the most, right?
You did. You were good, man. You were.
I was on pretty.
Right.
Yeah, but I remember there was this one brown-haired girl, right? She had a fat pussy. I think she's from the South. And I said, well, she is cute, but she really liked you, right?
Right.
She wasn't had nothing to do with me. Or, you know, not that, you know, it just wasn't.
Right.
You just had her, she was on you, right?
Right.
I think you fucked her for a month or so. That's
Light-skinned girl?
No, it was a white girl. Spanish, maybe Spanish looking, but I don't think so. She was a white girl with brownish hair. Seeping along, she had a little bit of a body. You remember her maybe a little bit? She had a friend with her too, I think. But this girl liked you, and I think you messed with her maybe for a short time.
Right. No, I mean, it was intense, man. It was an intense era. We were doing some things from the model, from the casting calls to the meet and greets to it was epic.
The girls liked us.
They would come and bring their friends.
Yeah.
Girl would come back with a friend.
Yeah, they just wanted to have fun. It was great, right? And I did a lot of work. Obviously, I was shooting my ass off. But this is even before I was shooting. I think that we would be trying to grab them in that office.
Right.
So I think that, maybe you came over to like you said, you came over to my apartment around the corner. And there was a times I didn't have an office yet there.
No.
So we were just trying to fuck the girls, get them all. And they love, you know, I'm young. They love me.
Right. Now
they loved you, yeah.
Yeah. It makes me wonder because women, without the women, there's no industry. I mean, there's a gay industry, but there's no industry. The women are key. You know, they have that energy, that sexual energy. They're gonna have it, whether they're making movies or not.
Yeah. Young, strong. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we just happened to be at the right place at the right time. More times than I would get there early because I would have to do a shoot that day or something. So I'd get to the office and, you know, we're doing paperwork, whatever. But the bonus was there'd be a new girl looking for work. And you'd be like, well, you know, I got the equipment. Or, you know, she'd be like, you want to see what I can do? Like,
whoa, yeah.
I'd be like, sure.
Like people just will never, ever get that experience, I don't think, for the rest of their lives. I don't think it'll ever come back. I don't think. Well, what I got, and you're part of it because you're early. You know what I mean? You're early, and you were part of Jim South's office. You're the only one, right, Marcus? Really? You're the only one that got that extra beauty, you know, the little extra cherry on top. Yeah. Only you know, and me, of course, I mean, because you were there next to Jim's office, in your own office, and you were shooting. So you got first dibs, you know, you got the love, you know, you're young, you're a good looking guy, the girls loved you. They loved me, but me and you are really the only two guys that got such special love. I got a little bit more, probably, but the girls loved you too, so who knows for sure, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I don't know, maybe it's equal.
Yeah,
but,
it was love.
You know, like we got so much love, so much free, so much special permissions.
Yeah, right. Nah, because I think girls, they knew they knew they could come there. There was no judgment. They could be free. There wasn't going to be no prying eyes. Nobody was going to, be viewing. They can have good sex, uninhibited with professionals, people that are going to give them a good time, and then they can go on and do whatever the rest of their day.
Right. They can come, their boyfriends, right. Most of their boyfriends couldn't do the job. The dicks aren't the right size, right? And they should have fucked are running, their boyfriends aren't like me, you know what I mean? Because if I like a girl, a lot, she's in trouble, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm gonna, ravish her, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then they're not getting enough, so they come and see us, get some good orgasms, right? And go back to their boyfriend or something,
Yeah, no, and if I knew I was filming it to film it, to document it, they get money. I made sure of like, yo, I'm either gonna give you a job or I'm gonna get somebody to give you a job. You know what I mean? I'm gonna co-sign. I'm gonna say, yeah, she's good to go. Like I wanted that experience to be a good experience. Because nowadays there's so many different rules and so many different attitudes and towards, and you don't know who's gonna flip it and say something and make.
That's what I mean. That will never come back, right?
Right.
Time is forever changed.
Right.
You were there. I was there. I was there a little earlier, but still, that point in time and world modeling was epic, irreplaceable.
Right. I didn't want to leave.
No.
I did not want to leave. I was like, no, fight, Jim, fight. You can do it. Come on.
He said that's the end?
Well, when he had to give up the office, I mean, it was more like.
So you were still there?
Oh yeah. I mean, I had to leave too. When Bill. Once Bill was gone, it wasn't the same. They brought in. The owners of the building now, the woman who owned the building, she passed, and then the family was like, they wanted to get rid of all the adult stuff, and it was different. They came in, and the guy who brought it in, he's an insurance agent, so he brought in him and his wife to have an insurance firm, and they just brought in another group of people that rented out the other offices, and they're all, it's a professional environment. It wasn't nowhere near what it was when we were there.
I would like to see that place be a historical monument.
Right.
Because...
Well, AIM, remember Sharon Mitchell? We used to, some of the first industry testing was there.
Yeah, in Bill Margo's office.
Yeah.
Right? Or was it office?
Your office, the one across. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, right. I mean,
Shawn Michaels was there. Remember he had
his company there.
Yeah, he had his company.
Because there was two offices. I took one, then I took the other one, something like that, right?
Yeah, right.
And then Shawn Michaels took one, but I think I was gone by then or whatever. But a lot of history in that place from way back, even before us. Right. But you put me in a couple of your movies. You actually started producing pretty quick.
Yeah. I think my second year, I was I got something with Metro. Metro put me on. They gave me like a 3-picture deal.
How'd you do that? How'd you accomplish that?
I think I shot for them, and Tony Cleary was their general manager at the time. But he was also like the head of the sales too. And I think he liked the way I performed. He liked me and him had a good rapport, and he just said, "How about you shoot your own thing?" Because I had all these ideas, and so he gave me feature budget, which was about $15,000, maybe $20 grand. They had a contract girl, Brooke Harlow was her name, and she was a black girl who didn't do black guys.
Oh. Well, I see white girls that I want to fuck. They didn't do white guys.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's like make it whatever. Work around that. So they gave me the job, and then Vivid came along and gave me Mr. Marcus's Neighborhood. That was Peter Reynolds brought me over there. He was their sales guy, and I was okay at it. They wanted black girls that did anal. First time black girls who did anal, which was a challenge because nobody was really doing anal. It was like 96, 97, so anal wasn't a big thing even with white girls. So it was really even harder trying to find it with black girls, But, I shot Mr. Mars. I only did like 10 or 11 of them. And I did that over like 2 or 3 years, But it was good training. It was good it was good because I was able to give people jobs, and that's what people want. They want jobs. Yeah. You know, you can put them to work. If you can pay them to do this, then they'll show up and do it. You know, I just wanted to do it more consistently, but you know, but Vivid, Metro, and then I just would pick up little things from the video team. You know, they give me a project and I try to knock it out.
I mean, you came to my house and you shot me and a girl, I can't remember the girl, at a pool table in Granada Hills.
Yeah, I remember that. That's the night we hung out afterwards. And you had a book on your counter. You were studying people's handwriting. Oh, yeah. And I was just kind of like, oh, let's look at this motherfucker. And I was like, I was always fascinated with you because you're wild and intense, but you're very, you know, observant and focused. You know what I mean? You're very but you're studious. You study the craft. You study the performers. You study habits. You study things. You know, beyond initial appearances and shit. That was the first time I actually was like, oh, he's a reader. Yeah. I like to know what the people are thinking. Right. The graphology, or you know, study of handwriting analysis, is psychological. You know, so it's nice to know these things. And when you have somebody write you a letter, you know what they're thinking. I went through applications with Mike Rubenstein one time for his store up in Frisco. I said, this person's this person's that. And he goes, oh, yeah, just by their handwriting. Oh, wow. It's a trip, you know what I mean? Wow. But yeah, I mean, I remember I did the scene, so yeah, you did a good, you know, I like to see that, right? That's why I sweat, and I get pretty intense, right? Right. But I remember, yeah, that was 97. Then you worked for me at Blackstreet Hookers too with Obsession. Remember? Shot in the pool. Was it a pool? No, the hotel. Oh. Cheap motel. Over there, probably off of DeSoto or something like that. Okay. Way back in 96. 96. Jeez. Right? I love Obsession. She was something. Tell me about that pussy. I was in love with her. You really? I really was. She was probably my first girlfriend / relationship. I don't know if that's the same thing. In the business? Yeah. Yeah, business-wise. I had a thing for her because she was, you know, she was pretty. She was pretty. She was beautiful. Very beautiful, photogenic, but good. Nice person. Just great person. Like very like you know that she's a good woman. Always. Yeah. Cool. Very nice. I hooked her up. Me and her had such a strong relationship. Tupac, when he came out here in like 90s, he was in here in the 95, but I met him 96, and he wanted to like talk business, and he wanted to talk about making movies and stuff, because he was putting together the How Do You Want It video, and so he wanted to have porn stars in it. And if you look at the video, it's shot by Ron Hightower. Wow, really? And it's got Nina Hartley, Heather Hunter, and one other girl, I can't think of her name, a blonde girl. And but leading up to all that, me and him was going back and forth talking about, you know, doing something. He wanted to do something. So I was like, so I wanted to impress him. So he was like, yo, you know, we should hang out. So the day that I met him, we were going back and forth through pagers. Mm-hmm. Jim South had a casting call. So Heather, Obsession came up with two of her friends. She came. She didn't come for the casting call. She came after the casting. This is 95? This is 96. 96, okay. So she comes up. We do, you know, I had a great day at the casting call. I was feeling like I was the man. I was going to meet with Tupac, and you know, at the end of the day, I had Obsession coming up with her friends. So I was like feeling like I'm an impressed Pac. So we get there to I had him meet me at El Torito. So I walked. Sherman Oaks. Yeah, Sherman Oaks and it's Ventura and Van Nuys. So I get there, and with Obsession and her two friends, and then Tupac comes walking in with security, plain clothes. They're in suits, and he sits down, and we got this corner booth, and we're sitting in like a curved booth. We're all sitting in there, and he's like, we had a drink. He likes Obsession. He likes her right out the bat. He likes her. I can tell. And so he's like, yo, let's go to the studio. We can drink and smoke at the studio. So I was like, yeah, let's go to the studio. I'm down for that shit. So I had like a little BMW 318, right? It wasn't shit. It was just whatever. So we walk outside and I see this van, not a van, like a station wagon. And the station wagon has got wood paneling on the side. It's like an old Dodge or something like that. And we walk out and Tupac's got his 2 security people walking right behind him. And he walks over to the station wagon and grabs the door handle. And I'm thinking, maybe he didn't get his money. Maybe because he just got out of prison. He just came in LA. So maybe he hasn't got his check yet from death row. You know, I know the whole story why, you know, he's here in LA. But I'm thinking he doesn't have his money yet. It's because he grabs, I'm thinking that's why he's driving this old ass station wagon. Plus he has to take these 2 guys with him too. So, all right, it makes sense. He grabs the handle and he must have known that I was thinking all of this shit, because he grabs it and he stops and he turns at me and he goes, and he walks over to this black Mercedes 500 convertible sitting there shiny, just top down. I'm like, and he looks over at Obsession and says, "You ride with me." And him and Obsession, they go hop in the car and he goes flying out in Ventura. And I'm sitting there trying to keep up my little BMW 318 and shit. And I got Obsession's friends in the car with me and I'm watching him swerve down. And I was like, all right, look at me.
He lost you or no?
Nah. I stayed with that motherfucker. I followed him.
Because you were in love with Obsession then, or no?
No, I was in love with Pac. I was fascinated with his whole story, and I wanted to see what the next chapter was going to be. But I knew Obsession was still my responsibility. At that point, she was still my responsibility. So I wanted to make sure she was good too. So we ended up at the Death Row Studios that night, and her and him, they just had cool chemistry right off the bat. Yeah. It was love.
That's cool. I mean, is that the only time you talked to him? Or
No. We ended up. I went back to his crib. He had a hotel room. It was right next where the old House of Blues used to be. I think I want to call it the Mondrian, but I'm not 100%. We spent that night. We smoked a joint. We hooked up a few days later. I brought Obsession up to the house. He moved to a condo off of Wilshire on the west side in Brentwood. So I brought Obsession over there because he wanted to see her again. Because we went to the studio that night. We hung out all night just listening to music and him making some music. And then I brought Obsession. She spent the night. I came and picked her back up the next day. And then I went to the How Do You Want It, when he got the How Do You Want It music video. I went to the set, but I got there late, and they were just wrapping up the shoot. By the way, that was shot by Ron Hightower.
Wow.
He directed that whole thing.
That's cool.
So he was like, and he told me the other side of the story about him meeting Tupac. But, all of that was connected, man. All of that was us looking out. We looked out for Pac, looked out for Obsession. Ron Hightower looked out for Pac. That was the porn's contribution to his, his history.
How cool was he? Tell me.
Super cool.
Super cool?
Super cool. Like, you could tell, to me, it looked like he had the world on his shoulders.
Pressure?
Yeah, like he had a lot of pressure. But I think at the same time, he knew, just keep going. Just keep moving. He was creative as fuck. His time was valuable. He didn't waste a lot of time. When we went to the studio, he actually he recorded a song. The rumor that people always talk about is that Pac, he had to make a song. He made it in his last year of life. He made a song every hour. So when he go in the studio, he didn't fuck around.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
That 20 hours?
Yeah. I mean, he was a go-getter. I mean, he would go. He was performing, writing, the acting. You know what I mean? He had the Outlaws. He was putting that together. He was constantly planning and marketing his, next moves.
Wow.
He was a businessman.
Serious?
Yeah.
He saw the opportunity. He was smart enough to know, and he jumped hard as he could.
Yeah.
I mean.
Now he's,
Nobody gives you that. He took it. He made it. It's a weird thing. You know what I mean? And that's what I think, that the universe will give you that. If you give the universe what they want. Right. They want you to go.
Yeah.
They gave you porno.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And porn gave me a lot of things,
Well, that's cool. So Obsession, you're in love with Obsession?
I had a lot of love for her. And
you went out with her?
Yeah, I mean, I had strong feelings for her.
Relationship or just go?
All of that. All of that.
How long?
A few months.
When you worked for me, do you remember that scene?
I'm trying to.
I would say I'm pretty good with my numbers and pretty good with time. I would probably say it was in September of '96. You came on and said you work with her, but I know her pussy is crazy good, right? And you pre-ejaculated, right? Do you remember?
I don't.
But do you remember her pussy being crazy?
Yeah.
We just liked her.
Right.
All of it.
Yeah, probably all of that. I mean, because she's a special girl. She's still special. Yeah, and here we are talking about her. You know, I was just talking about her a few days ago. I think for me, she was like Chasey Lane. You know how Chasey Lane was real beautiful and I think Obsession set this bar. I mean, she was beautiful, natural. You know, I had instant chemistry with her. Like I instantly was like into her. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about black girls. Okay, since we're talking about, Obsession.
Mm-hmm.
Janet Jackman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, her passion, her fire was insane. What did you feel about her passion? You already told me you were scared.
Yeah, I was intimidated.
Right. So there's another girl who had a lot of passion, and I thought her face was really, really beautiful.
Who?
Midori.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, her face.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And her goods. I mean, I'm about the goods.
Right.
I'm all about the goods.
Right.
For me, she has some crazy goods. You remember?
You're all about those lumps, those baby, those lady lumps. I used to have every time I think about Midori, I think about a scene that I shot with her down in the cliffs down like in San Pedro area. I mean, because I was trying to shoot crazy shit in different places, but Midori, we used to shoot a lot because it was black on black. We were trying to get that black on black quota done. But video team, because she was like their contract girl, so to speak. Contract, not contract. So I was doing a lot of work for them, but me and her I got images of Midori because we just had that, she reminds me of Cherie, Cherie DeVoe, but without the sex. Midori was all about sex. Mature, like a woman. She wasn't like no little...
Sensual.
Very sensual, like what she does.
Sexual demon, huh?
Right.
Like, not really a demon.
Right. Like, you could tell she wasn't faking shit.
Wow.
Nah.
She'll take your soul. No.
Right. Funny.
So she was,
No.
I thought she was...
I got love for her. I love her, yeah. Of course. Of course.
I mean, way up there. Of course, you probably worked with Dominique, right?
I think I only did one thing with her.
That was my ex, so...
Right,
what do you think of her?
I love Dominique.
She was horny as hell.
Yeah.
Right? But,
yeah, crazy too, though.
Way crazier than you even know. I'm going to get her on here. We went out for a year and a half.
Right.
It was...
Yeah, she's intense. You guys together.
Yeah. Right. And even all that and more. Right?
Right.
But what about Monique?
Love her. Yeah. Monique was good. Monique could...
Scare you too or no?
She was like Janet on another level.
Right.
She was another level.
She was strong.
Yeah, she was like, she didn't give a fuck. She was a beast. She was
serious.
Yeah, she was great. I was like, calm down. Because you're going to perform. And you're not a robot. I'm not a robot. I'm not just, my dick ain't walk around like that. So I needed something from her. I needed something. Some kind of affection, some kind of like, where I could do what I do too. You know what I mean? Right. Hard to get from her. You just gotta fuck her. That's it. You just gotta walk in there with your dick hard. And I learned that some girls, they won't give you nothing. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna give you no kissing, no feels, no warm up. They're not gonna give you none of that. Yeah. And sometimes you gotta create all that shit up yourself and just be already there. And that way, when you're doing it, she can working with, she's got you where she needs you.
She's another special performer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about Heather Hunter?
Love Heather.
Good.
I still have this personal relationship with her.
All right.
she's one of those. She's a very special person. Very special.
Which one of those girls did you fuck off camera? Or all of them?
You want to know? Huh?
I mean, they're not shy.
No, they're not. No,
I'm gonna be happy that you've disclosed it. You know what I mean?
No, it's cool. I mean, I'm still, you know, me and Heather, we had a relationship off camera. Yeah, obsession. I don't think so much Midori. I think me and her were always professional, but I don't ever remember having a bad time with her. Monique, I think Julian, that was really Julian's girl. Oh, and I think that was a discovery. Oh, yeah. So there was no off-camera thing with her. Dominique was too crazy for me. She's too, yeah.
I mean, you're not lucky, but that's a good
you're
observation.
Right. She was a New York, you know, Philly or
no, she's from Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay. Well.
yeah. Whatever, you know?
Right.
And then, those were girls that were, you know, really in the 90s kind of, you know?
Yeah.
Any other girls you remember? From the, you know, for black girls?
The mocha and chocolate.
Mocha and chocolate, they're nice.
Yeah, they were good. Crystal Knight, but Crystal Knight didn't do guys. I had a big thing for her.
Pretty,
yeah, I came close. Yeah, she's cool.
She was cool.
Who's the other girl? There was a girl that was under contract with VO Team. Real pretty girl. Great attitude. Real super. I can't think of her name though. So yeah, I mean,
okay. All the girls you worked with, you know what I mean? Which girl? You know, this is something that'll just come to you because you'll feel it. You know what I mean? Which girl or girls? You know, just give me a small amount of just the ones that come to the top had the best P-Nani, you know what I mean? Pussy. Who had the best?
It doesn't matter.
In the business, yeah.
In the business, I think the best girls were the ones I had chemistry with, mm-hmm. Like it was mutual. And right off the bat, I mean, Heather Hunter, obviously good chemistry.
She has some good stuff too, though.
Yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, the girl's, she's ageless, you know. She took care of herself. She had great attitude. All of those things make the, what do you call it? The pussy.
Guys, we're here, we're real, you know?
Right. I think all of those things, you know, makes the pussy way more enjoyable, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It does. I mean, you can fucking shit out of girls with no attitude. I can do that. I've done that, but I'd rather have some kind of chemistry. Heather Hunter, Charmaine Starr.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, I love the Charmaine. And then...
she used to chase me down way back.
Really? She's a little freak.
Bringing me presents and all the stuff.
Really? Lucky you.
99, yeah.
Yeah, lucky you. She knew how to take care of people, though. She's like that guy. She's like that girl. Sylvia Saint. Loved her.
Yeah. She's pretty.
Yeah, Sylvia Saint. Asa Carrera. Asa Akira. Good energy, good rapport.
But good stuff. We're talking high quality stuff.
Good pussy, yeah. Good. Like she's gonna fuck you. Yeah, she's gonna fuck you. She knows what she's doing with her pussy. Her pussy's wet. She moves it in a certain way. She knows how she appreciates a good dick. Yeah.
So those are the girls that you say have really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I realize now, years later, that we all got our preferences. You know what I mean? We all got shit that works better for me than it would for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I've come to. I've met girls that are not in the business that have really, really strong sexual presence. They can easily be adult performers if they want it.
I mean, it's just girls. I mean, everybody's just human, right?
Right.
We already know it's the way it is. Mm-hmm. You know who I thought had some pretty good stuff? Remember Kitty Young?
Kitty was special.
Right.
She didn't. Nobody looked like Kitty.
No, she was nice skin and good shape and wet and great. I mean, there's a lot of great girls.
Do you know what happened to her?
No. Oh, no, she just probably left.
Right. Moved on. She probably met somebody rich. They always meet somebody rich, and then they get married, and become a totally different person.
Sometimes. You ever work with Sierra?
Black girl Sierra?
No, white girl. Brown hair.
She sounds familiar.
Super cute.
Right. I don't know.
She came around in probably 93. So maybe, so you're 94, you should have saw her. Anyway,
I can't remember.
She was really cute. So, you working with all the male performers, who do you think, besides me, because we already know that I was super strong, who was the good performers that you thought were really good performers in those days? You kind of said, those were black, you're saying Shawn Michaels, Drake, but who were the other people?
That were working all the time?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was always in awe of Dave Hardman. I thought, because he would just he would do every scene. Nacho, I love Nacho. I thought he was always solid. Rocco shot the type of scenes that I knew we should shoot. 40-minute, 45-minute scenes, no cut, just straight raw. That to me was a sign of a strong performer. Guys who can control the scene, could bring something out of the girls, and can give the camera what it needed. They knew how to perform for the camera. It wasn't like them hunched over, getting some sex. It was pulling her, spreading her, and opening it up to the camera, bringing something out of her, getting a reaction, a genuine reaction, and getting it out, and just doing something awesome that you didn't expect. You know what I mean? Like, because when you do a good scene, you feel good, she feels good, the crew feels good, and that when someone watches it, they're gonna feel good. They're gonna feel good about it because there's no bad energy at all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like when you're doing that, when you perform and she's satisfied and the crew is satisfied, the viewer is going to be satisfied. You just feel it. And those moments.
Hopefully the camera works good, but yeah. Yeah.
You hope your camera guy. You know those guys that can get it too. Those guys that.
Sometimes, come on, Marcus. I understand what you're saying, but let's think about it. Sometimes you thought you did. You ever see this? You ever think you did such a great scene,
right.
And all of a sudden I'm gonna check it out, right? And you go, what the?
Right. Why is the camera over there? Why is that angle? Like, I don't, yeah.
It's not
shadows,
there, right? The scene is nothing.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. To me, sometimes, if they didn't capture it, if I can give it to them again, I would, but most times I was like, that was a lesson learned right there. You know what I mean? Because you had opportunity to capture something awesome. And, some motherfuckers don't get it.
Sometimes, like you said, the crew, right? There's the people wouldn't know. But sometimes the crew would say, yeah, right? Give you applause. They started giving me applause like really early in my career, right? But how many times did they do that for you, and how'd you feel about it?
I don't know. I don't know how many times, because sometimes I think of the failures too. So, but the times that it happened.
Oh, the good times, when you were. Yeah. They just, oh yeah,
Yeah. No, there was a lot of times where I was like, just felt. You go through this. I went through I guess when I was working like consistently, doing as many scenes as possible. You're in that zone. You know what I mean? When you're just sexually, when that motor's running, you're like, okay, I can do more scenes. You got a scene? You just were like, I was on a prowl. Like I would shoot, and then after the shoot, I would go to the club, and I would look for more energy. I needed more sexual experience. I needed an experience. I needed more sexual release. Because, it's so strong. I didn't get it all out. I got it out maybe so I would do such a strong performance in a scene and feel good, but I never felt like that was it. I felt like I could do more. Like I wanted to do more. You know what I mean? So if that came from by way of performing in front of the camera or knocking out a scene or doing like a casting couch, or if it was some random club shit, there was like the energy was always once that was turned on, and that's how it is for me now. If it's on, if I'm feeling sexual, if I'm feeling that energy, it's a magnet. It draws in, it draws things into, you attract it.
It's like the libido, they call it, right? Sexual libido. But what I'm saying is, on the sets, when you did such a good job, the crew would say, "Yeah, you did a great job."
Right.
What kind of feeling was that for you?
It's great. It was sometimes it would be better than the girl. The girl saying she liked it. The crew, like the lighting guy or the camera guy saying, because I know they see a lot of shit. They see a lot of different performers. I knew that they were on a lot of different sets. And for them to acknowledge it, to even say anything wasn't necessary. But that little bit of, good job, that went a long way.
Yeah, I like it. So I had, Pinky here the other day. She said that you were her favorite performer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think she said that, or the best sex scene. I think it was you were her favorite performer. That's what I think she said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, she's such a nice person, right? Unbelievable.
Super smart, super fan
smart.
friendly.
Yeah.
She's good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the new generation of girls, right? That I kind of made stars, that helped make them stars. I shot Pinky in 20 movies, right? Roxy, I shot in like 16, Cherokee probably 18. I put them on all the boxes and helped make them stars. You know what I mean? But so tell me about what are some of the new girls, like I just mentioned, or some other girls that you can't remember, but maybe you can, when you think about the new generation, 2005, 2006, and 2010, 2015, and black girls, because that was a time when a lot of new black girls, I helped bring them, you know what I mean, were there. Because, I employed so many people.
Right.
Is there any girls that come to your mind that you really were into in those times? Or were the 90s more
No, I mean,
intimate?
I like Ariana Starr, Lexi, I want to say Lexi Cruz. There was Jada Fire. She was intense.
Jada Fire, I did her first scene.
Oh, really?
Right? Blackstreet number 11, right?
Okay.
That was me in my prime, right?
Right.
So I had, fucked her so hard, she didn't come back for 3 more years. But, we were cool, She just got a taste of a lot of, hardcore sex. But so she came back in the 2000s. But I think I shot her in 97 or 98. Mm-hmm. But Jada Fire was very hot. Right?
Yeah, Jada Fire, definitely. Who else? I worked with Anna Fox, I think, once. Yeah. And then Missy Stone once. And that was it for me. That was the girls of this era.
Roxy?
Roxy Reynolds. Oh, yeah, Roxy Reynolds. I thought about Roxy earlier, but now Roxy was like, to me, she was like an obsession. Yeah. But Roxy's very business, very focused. I remember she had a plan. She was getting her money right. She wanted to do this. She was going to school. She's a business owner now, and so that's always impressive.
She's very strong.
Yeah, it's always impressive.
And she's, very pretty.
Yeah, one of the prettiest.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Very pretty. Mm-hmm. So, okay. Let's look here. What is the most scenes you've done in one day?
I think 4.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I did one like at 10, another one at 1, one at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and then another one like at 7 or 8 at that evening. I remember that. It was...
That's great. One time or a couple times?
No, I think the most, 2 a days were pretty normal. Yeah. If you can get it in, if you had it, because the problem is, and my problem was, if I double booked, Murphy's Law, one set's gonna always run over and change and fuck. Every single time I would try to get more work, in the day, something would always fuck up the other thing. It was best not to. It was best to get one gig, focus on that gig, and then get that out the way, and then you can focus on something else.
One of the girls, before we go too far, that I thought I remember you having a good time with, you know what I mean, was Julie Aston. Mm-hmm. Right? Was that anything special for you?
Nah, she's dope. She's dope. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, we had a thing. I didn't even think about it till you brought it up right now, but yeah.
Yeah, way back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Julie Aston.
So
I have her in my phone book actually still.
Oh, yeah?
And Julianne gets pissed because every time I text, Julianne is always like, "I'm not Julianne." I said, I know. I had to get that shit straight. But
do you fuck Julie Ann?
yeah.
Who was she good?
Yeah, Julianne's still going strong. Yeah.
No, still working, right?
Right.
Was the pussy good?
Yeah.
Great or just
Good. No, it's good. It's good.
Right. I mean, it's not the obsession pussy.
Nah, session was a different chemistry.
You remember that girl, Brandy?
Yeah.
That, like
light skinned.
half Filipino, half black.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That pussy.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Right.
For me, you know, she had that look, right?
Right.
Did you work with her?
Yeah.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
For me, that stuff looked like a 11. You know what I mean?
Right.
How was it?
We're still friends to this day. So I don't know if that counts. Her pussy, I can't remember her pussy though.
So fat. Oh, so nice. I jacked off to her a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But so did you fuck her off camera?
Brandy, yeah.
Yeah? Hmm? So that shit was bomb? Hmm? That's all you can say?
That's all I can say, because I'm not,
really?
like, we're friends now, so we're very platonic and, yeah, very square.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How's she doing?
She's doing good.
She was one of the cutest I didn't get a hold of.
Yeah.
Anyways, so when you first started, you said you were $175 to $120,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whatever, it's kind of normal. Yeah. I started at $125 and I was happy for it.
Yeah.
So what is the most you got paid per scene, right? What's the most you made in 1 year as, you know, in the business?
First, I mean, the most I got up to about like 800 to 900 a scene. And then the most I ever made for one movie was The World's Luckiest Black Man. They paid me like 10 G's to do that. And that was 101 girls. But most of them 1 year, I don't know, 75, 80,000 maybe. Yeah.
I mean, that's comfortable, right?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's not consistent.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's a lot of... That was going overseas. That was shooting my own movies. That was shooting for other people. Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on.
How did you like working for my company, Evasive Angles? Mark used to hire you a lot.
Yeah.
I made sure.
Yeah, I love him. You know, Mark Anthony's still one of my good friends. I've known him for 26 years. I met him the first year. I think he was on that Tiffany Million gangbang when I met you, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Hmm. Yeah. He used to work security at some industrial park down in I want to say it's Carson area, but it may be wrong. But that's how, and so I remember hanging out with him one night there while he was working. Yeah.
How was it working for my company?
It was. You're always good. I mean.
It's another company?
No, I mean, you know, you would. Only thing is, it was always hard getting rate out of you. You didn't want to pay rate. You know, I'd be like, "Yeah, this is my rate." Like, you always wanted to like save some money.
That's true. I'm not gonna deny. I'm always trying to make sure I come up with a profit, not a loss. You know?
Right.
Part of the game. But yeah.
I understand.
But you still work for me a lot.
Yeah, you always had the talent. I mean.
Well, Mark called you a lot, right?
Love Mark. Yeah.
You know,
not that much, because I mean I wasn't working, like I had a family too, so I had to always run back to the house. But when you would get me, like I said, last time I worked for you, I think it was an orgy, and it was like an all day thing, but it was just, you know, everybody was cool. Your sets were always cool. like you said, you got along with people really well, especially brothers. So
Yeah, man, I want to make sure I'm a performer. You know, you're a performer.
I know.
I want to make sure that shit's relaxed.
No, you're not a dick. You weren't a dick at all. You always had good girls.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people don't know the vibe to become a good performer. You know, but we already know that.
Right.
But, I mean, I want my directors to make sure that there was a good vibe. You know,
Right.
So, you know, I
Right.
don't want that.
Right.
How are you gonna perform good if you got a bad vibe?
No, you gotta have good vibes. You gotta have good energy. The environment's gotta be cool. The people gotta be cool.
Yeah.
You get a better result.
So the AVN. Let's talk about this AVN. Before Paul Fishbein sold it, right? How did you feel about the AVN?
I love the AVN when Paul Fishbein was involved. I mean, it felt like you can go and talk to people there. Like they knew who you were. They took care of you at the award show. They gave you good promo. They gave you good press. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it was like a business relationship, but, you know, everybody benefited from it.
And now, Shawn Michaels, I had him on the show, right? And he said that they banned you at AVN.
Yeah.
Which I think about this and I say to myself, that seems ridiculous, right? Pretty ridiculous to me. Could you grab the girl's ass?
I didn't do anything? I didn't do nothing.
You didn't do nothing.
Not a thing.
And even if you did grab a girl's ass, I think we're in pornography. I think it'd be insane. But the fact that you didn't,
right? You know, and that's you know, that's the part. I tried. Nobody would. Nobody would listen to me. I didn't get no advocates. You know, well, you know, no, I did. People, because the night, it was like a domino effect. The first night things happened. We were at the nominations party down here at the Edison. This was like 3 years ago. And I get there. It was like November of 2017. And I get there. I'm with a friend, Tasha Rain. Is walking around with the video camera, filming for AVN, getting B-roll, doing interviews. And she's walking by me, and I'm thinking I want to get some B-roll, some AVN B-roll. So I reach out to get her attention as she's walking by, and she just keeps on walking. So I was like, that's fucked up. You know, I reached out to her, and she just walked right past. Like, it wasn't like, you know, I was like, hey, nothing. She kept walking, so I was like, whatever. So I felt like I was being watched. So I just said, you know what, fuck it. I sat down, started talking to my friend. Because usually I would have pursued him, like, hey, you know, whatever. But I was already feeling apprehensive about, for some reason I didn't feel comfortable. I felt like everybody was looking at me differently, whatever. So I'm sitting.
Off of putting your arm out?
No, this is like from the time I got there. When I first got there, it just felt like, it was just like just a weird energy. I didn't feel like, you know, love and seeing friends and stuff. It didn't feel like that. I didn't get a chance to even get around the whole entire room. I was kind of like just observing. I do that when I go places. I'm just watching shit. So security walks over 30 seconds later and says, I gotta leave. I'm like, for what? He said, because you sexually assaulted or touched someone without permission. And then I see Tasha talking to everybody, AVN staff. So I walk over to her and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why you say that? I said, you know, because I was putting two and two together. I says, you know, I was trying to get your attention, but that was it. And security was like, no, get away from her. AVN got it. Step back. And I'm like, I'm trying to explain to you guys what I think is happening here. You know, nobody wanted to listen. So they asked me to leave. So I left, and I was like, and you know, that same night she went online and she posted like this video sitting in her car talking about, I got Mr. Marcus kicked out. You know, he should learn barriers and respect, you know, people's space. And she seemed like she was proud of that. And I was thinking to myself, like, I didn't do anything. I don't even know this girl. I've never met her, never talked to her. I didn't know who she was. So I'm thinking, and the fact that she had to go on social media and do that was really blowing my mind. I was like, why would you post something like that unless you really want everyone, you know, you have an agenda. So fast forward to AVN, the award show, and I walk in. You know, I'm going back and forth. I'm at the show and I'm getting my passes and everything in order, my tickets for the AVN show in order. You know, I spent like $1,500 on a table. I had got passes for people because the following, I had like a booth. I paid for a booth. So, you know, I was all business minded, and I go into the red carpet. You know, I got red carpet passes. I'm in the media room. I'm walking along the red carpet, and I was walking on the red carpet with Sean and them, and I turn, and Tasha's standing right here. And I'm just like, I see her, and I'm just like, and I go right the other direction. I was like, I don't want nothing to do with this girl. So I get back with Sean and Julian and some other people, and we work our way through the media room. Now we're walking into the AVN. Now we're walking into we're in the hallway between the media room and the venue for the award show. And before we walked into that hallway, I saw one of the AVN staff, and I saw her. And so I got her attention because I had been dealing with her getting my passes. And I said, hey, I want to let you know, I just saw Tasha Rain on the red carpet, and she's got I don't know what she's saying or what she's doing, but there's, you know, I didn't do anything. She's already made false accusations already. So I'm not sure what she's planning, but she just popped up on this red carpet. And she's like, I don't want to hear it. And I'm too busy. I got things I got to do. So I'm like, whatever. I just wanted, I wanted it noted that I, you know, was being precautious. And I was being precautious by just saying, hey, this girl's crazy. She's already made false claims. She might do it again. So sure enough, as I'm walking in there with Sean and them, about to walk in the hallway, you know, walking to the venue, security comes over, goes over to Sean, tells Sean, you can't come in. You're not welcome here. I hear this because I'm standing right there. And I'm thinking, damn it, she's doing it again. She's doing this shit again. So I told the security, I said, listen, I think you guys got the wrong dude. I think you're looking for me. So they get on their little walkie-talkies and shit. And they say, yeah, because we were both wearing black suits. So they tell me, oh yeah, you're the guy. You're not allowed here. I'm like, for what? We got to claim that you assaulted some girl on the red carpet. I'm like, what the fuck? Again. She said the same exact thing. So in the background, I see Peter Warren, who's AVN, talking to Tasha. And they're both, and honestly, Peter don't give a fuck. His look on his face was like, so what? So what for Mr. Marcus? Because he saw me standing there looking at him like, come on, dude. You know, don't let her do that shit. And he co-signed it because security was like, they were checking to see, you know, what's the final word. And they were like, no, he's got to leave. So they kicked me out. And then I got an email from the lawyer telling me that I'm no longer welcome at AVN events. And I was just like, it's fucked up.
After 20 years?
24 years, yeah.
Of going to the AVN?
Yeah. I went to my 26th this past January. I was like, fuck that, I still went. But I didn't go into the convention. You know.
Went to the awards?
No, or the awards. I just went to the hotel, hung out at the Circle Bar, talked to a few people, took some pictures, saw some friends. You know what I mean? But it's, you know, it's fucked up because they don't want to listen to you. And when I talked to the lawyer, you know, through other people, I found that he was trying to hold a lot of other shit against me, saying, you know, all these character flaws and we don't want him around. And it's just really fucked up.
Well, I don't like that. I think that's Not very. That's fucked up.
It's fucked
You
up.
can't. I don't want to talk too much shit because my mouth will go. You know what I mean? You know me. I'll talk a lot of shit. So that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Let's move on. You know what I mean? There's your case on that, and I believe you. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. No, I didn't touch her.
I
never touched her. I never met her. Never nothing. And it was fucked up because they immediately believed her over me, and they wouldn't hear my side of the story. There was no due process. They never reached out and said, hey, what's your side of the story? What happened? They never. I even got text messages that night from Peter Warren saying, you know, that he believes me and that she's probably making it up. And I was just like, you know, you didn't say nothing then, did you? You didn't fight for me. You didn't fight for it. You just allowed that shit to happen.
I mean, do people forget that we're in pornography? I mean, I'm not part of it really anymore.
Right.
But I mean, it's not the same, huh? Mm-hmm. Not even close, huh?
Listen, you know, we've been around through a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of racial shit, a lot of fucking prejudice shit, a lot of medical shit. You know, the industry wasn't the same. Hasn't, you know, I think you said it during gyms. You said when you got into business, our testing was 6 months. You can fuck whoever you want for 6 months. You can do whatever the hell you want. For 6 months, you're fucking off of 1 6-month-old test.
When I first got in, there was no test.
Yeah. Yeah, even further. None. So, you know, from where we are now, we never checked for STDs. We didn't start testing for STDs till about early 2000. They didn't have that shit up there. It was HIV and HIV only. Mm-hmm. They didn't care about nothing else. Until they started fucking with their money. The government started getting involved until, you know, I mean, listen, I think we should have been doing all this testing a long time ago anyways, but you can't fault motherfuckers for not knowing, because there's no sexual education that comes along with this shit. There's only sexual experience. That's it. Your sexual education comes from showing up on set and fucking and discussing what's it like afterwards or before or during or after, but analyzing what you just did, trying to have some kind of idea what it's going to be like before you're actually doing it. You don't know until you're doing it. And all the fucking rules that we got they're not, it's not consistent across the board. People shoot in hotel rooms, people shoot in mansions, some take out film permits, some are shooting on the side of the road. You know, it's a wild industry.
Yeah. Well, I call it the Wild Wild West before, but
yeah.
You know, a lot of things get tamed. Like the internet is Wild West. It was the next one.
Now it's like fucking all these kids are doing crazy shit.
It will be tamed, right? Porno was wild. It got tamed. Mm-hmm. The way it is. It'll never be the same. It's over.
Right.
But we're part of the beautiful Wild West that was free and fun and beautiful. That's what we're gonna take. You know what I mean? Because that's what we got. Some beauty. Mm-hmm. You got some ugly stuff, you know, but happens.
Shit happens. I mean, like you said, you learn from it, you move forward, you turn around, and you're able to educate other people. Yeah.
Let's talk about this. You came up, or I think you brought, Superhead into the business. I think, right?
Right.
That's true.
The story behind her is Suave brought her into the business. He did a scene with her, I guess, out in New York. She came out here to LA looking for work, looking for money. He recommended her to me, and I shot her for the Mr. Marcus neighborhood. But I didn't really know what I was going to do with the scene because they wanted to change the name of it to something else. But I was shooting her like I said, I was looking for new black girls, and they were going to do anal. And that was Superhead. I forgot. I did fuck her in the ass, didn't I? I think I did.
Did you like fucking girls in the ass?
Some girls. Yeah. Not all of them.
No. I understand. I think it made a lot of that work, you know what I mean?
Right.
That was strong.
Right.
But so what is the deal with Superhead? I mean, she was really popular, right? Because she can really give a good blowjob? What was the story?
I think because of the way we shot it too, you know what I mean? Like it was like shot with this, you know, the first scene that I shot with her, she gave me head, but she made me come she made me come pretty quick. And so, you know, it's hard when you got to wear a condom for the scene too. You know, if you already nut, it's just ain't working. So I said, let's come, you know, let's shoot the next day. Let's shoot tomorrow, because it wasn't going to be a solid scene. It wasn't, and I knew it because she was intense. She was intense with it, but she, you know, with the condom, I knew I needed to be fresh. I needed to be, you know, intact.
Of course. That's hard, very hard with the condom.
Right.
But why did they give her that name?
I think because in the blowjob, you see her fucking doing like this thing with her hands. They call it the clarinet or the flute or whatever, but somebody said grinding the salt. So it's just her hand technique, her hand and mouth technique working together. And we documented that. That's all we documented. And I guess that's what, you know, people, fucking women connected with it, dudes wanted it. And the fact that she wrote a book kind of detailing her sexual experiences with motherfuckers, no doubt. It made her presence even reverberate. It made it higher.
Well, that's a trip, because so really her, I mean, was she that good at sucking a dick? Or was it just pretty common, pretty normal day at the office? Yeah? That's what I was wondering.
But for the viewer, the person who doesn't watch a lot of porno, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For him, it's special.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I've seen it all. We've seen it all.
We've seen it all. For the one who never, they need a little boost. They need something that makes them like pay attention. Superhead.
So you named it Superhead?
I didn't name her.
Mr. Mars's neighborhood?
No, I didn't name her Superhead. I didn't even know that was really her MO. I didn't know much about her when Swab introduced me to her. We just clicked off the whole, like, I need to shoot this movie and she's down to do it. And we were like talking about what it's going to be like, what days she's available, how much I'm paying her. You know what I mean? Like, it was pretty. And then she just was cool. You know, we flirted, we kicked it, we had good energy. Yeah, it was good. I mean, we ended up shooting a full scene. We got it.
So that's it?
That was it.
That's the only thing? That's the fame behind
the fame came, I'm telling you, the fame came with the book, and the fame came with her appearance on Oprah.
And the name sounds great.
The name works.
We already seen it all, right?
So, yeah. I always can tell people if they're a real Superhead fan by the way they spell her name. If they spell it Supahead, then that's the old school. But if they're spelling it Superhead, then they're just somebody who heard the name.
Yeah, like me.
Right.
It's heard the name.
Right.
So, how do you feel about, you know, all these years? You know what I mean? You know, because my heart was really in this business. You know, so we're very similar. You know what I mean? So how do you feel about all these years and the way it's changed from those days? We've kind of talked about it, but just a straight answer, you know, a direct answer. How do you feel about from the yesteryear, you know, which also throw in there your favorite decade, you know?
Right.
And I guess 13, but actually 17 still, because you were there, right at the AVN, right? So what does your heart feel like when you think about this time?
About this.
No, about the experience.
Oh, when I look back, I feel like I said. I think I feel like unfinished business. I feel like there's more to do. I'd like to, you know, be in a position of producing some really strong movies, internet, social media, more appearances, mentor to other people, sex education, sexual enjoyment, how to help other people enjoy it, maybe deal with some of the issues that come with pornography, some of the negatives. I mean, like I said, it's been a learning. It's like being in school, it's like being in class. It's like a psychology class. I was always interested in the people, how the minds work. So when I look back at it, I'm happy. And no matter all the little challenges, because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in this business. I wanted to be, and I always thought of this industry. I'm looking at your map. Your map is crazy, but
it's all about the SFE.
Right. You know what? I wasn't even familiar with the Valley until I got in the porn industry. And even then, I used to have to find my way around because I didn't know there was no GPS. I didn't know where shit was. You know what I mean? It was like I had to go on my computer and type in the address and then print it out.
There wasn't even a computer when you started, kind of.
Right. It wasn't. No, it wasn't. Not the home computers.
There wasn't no Google. There wasn't.
No, there was no Google shit. They give you an address, you put it in, you find it, you look on the screen, you click on it, pull up a little map, print it out. I got plenty of those papers.
But before that, we had to use a regular map.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to get with directions all written down where to go and how to get the
left, right,
left,
right, stop sign.
Right. You get to if you see this house or this stop sign, you've gone too far. You know, it's a bunch of shit to try to make it happen.
Is there any directors that you hold in high regard that you
Good question.
appreciated?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I love Ron Hightower because our sets were very comfortable, and you show up with girls, and you can have hanger-ons, but they didn't bother me. I love Paul Thomas, eccentric, creative, not the ordinary, very unorthodox, but very he connects the past with the future. Like he's a guy that's been around 40 years.
75. 76.
Yeah. So 45 years. I mean, this guy, you feel it. He's different. Approaches sex differently. Talks about sex differently.
Yeah, he was a movie star and all that, so he really knows film.
Yeah, he knows film, and that's what sometimes I click with people who knew film.
He was a regular movie star. Just want people know, regular movie star, and then a porno star.
Right.
Theater star.
Right. He's got a history. Yeah, I gotta watch the interview. I haven't watched it. That's what I'm watching next after I watch.
TTBoy TV.
Right. As soon as I finish up with Jim South, I'm moving on to Paul Thomas. But John Leslie, iconic. You know what I mean? The guy talked about sex in such a different way. You know what I mean? Made me think about it differently too.
Yeah, really intense.
Yeah, very passionate. He wanted to see love making. He wanted to see fucking. He wanted to see chemistry. He wanted you to set the tempo. You let me, here's what I'm looking for. Let me see what you got. You know what I mean? And so he was an awesome director. I shot for, who else did I like shooting for? I mean, Mike John really wasn't a director, but he said the same thing. Okay, this is the girl. Where do you guys want to fuck? You know what I mean? So it wasn't so much directing. It was more like he was just there to capture it. So I love Mike John. I can't. I mean, those names stand out.
Alex Terenzi, Henry Bouchard.
Alex Terenzi was good. Henry was also. I mean, they're story driven.
Michael Nin.
I like
Michael Zen.
They were good guys. I actually like Alexander DeVoe. I thought he was creative. He shot unorthodox. He had a vision. He didn't want to work on sets. He wanted to be out in the real world shooting it. I always admire that shit. Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add to this epic?
All right. Nah, I think love to come back and we talk about some more shit. I mean, it was kind of like it's just us talking about this industry is important. A lot of these cats, they don't know. They show up and they're watching a webcam. They don't even understand, like, when we were trying to do webcam or DVDs or BTS for the DVDs, all that extra shit, instead of just watching the movie, now you got to see the personalities of the people performing with the BTS behind the scenes. Mainstream has never we get little bits and pieces, you know. Tara Patrick gets a role, or Jenna Jameson gets a role, or James Dean may get a mainstream role, or Sasha Grey, you know, they may get, you know, but mainstream doesn't look at us as serious actors or performers, or, you know, but there is a respect there because we're known by everybody, you know, famous people, they all know porn stars. And so I feel like, you know, to be a part of that history, to be a contributor to what it is now, you know, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's always been awesome.
Well, maybe I can get you on here and we'll interview somebody together.
Yeah.
Would you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of fun, right?
Right.
What's real, you know what I mean?
Right.
And all right, another thing is, I got 2 more questions, but this question is, how did it first feel? You know what I mean? When you start walking the streets, right? They're going, hey man, I seen you, man.
Right.
Or they're looking at you funny, right? Like, where did I see that guy, you know? What did you think? How did you feel? And then you became more popular, so it really got deep, right?
You're right. Well, you know.
And did you get any fucking pussy out of it? You know what I mean?
Of course. There's always pussy. Pussy always comes with the territory.
A lot. That was beautiful. Wait, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think the fans give you kind of like a meaning. They give you like a, you know, if I'm having a bad day, really, if I'm like kind of miserable about some shit, internalizing some issues, it's nice for when a fan be like, yo, big fan, yo, you got any new movies? Hey, I watch your scene. You know, that love helps. It kind of like pushes all the bullshit out the way. It does. It kind of like, it opens up it's a reminder of your accomplishments, a reminder of like the human connection we got. It's just of the memories you've given somebody. You know what I mean? I'm cool with it. Because somebody told me one time, they said, you got the best kind of fame. You're not too famous where you can't, you know, people are all over you everywhere you go, but you got enough fame that when people know you, they show you love in its respect behind it too. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, it's good. I can get on the subway and be good. And I can meet people. Oh, Mr. Marcus, I can take a picture, but at the same time, I can go to the grocery store. And I've been, you know, I'm born and raised all up and down these streets. So it's like all these people I know outside of porn. I know hundreds of people that are just, you know, nowhere near the industry, but show love. Just because you've been around, just because you know, somebody they know, you know? So that's always been dope. And to be here in LA doing it, to have the industry here in our backyard, you know, it's dope. It's dope. Because we didn't have to go to Vegas to do it. We didn't have to go to Miami. We didn't have to go to New York or Atlanta. It was right here.
This is the capital of the fucking world. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
You know, and you know, I and you helped make it the capital. Jim South is the founder, you know, of San Fernando Valley, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you know, you helped, I helped.
Yeah, we contribute. Yeah, we're part of the story.
I contribute a lot.
Yeah, we're a big part of the story.
So, where'd you get your name?
Mr. Marcus?
Yeah.
Truthfully, I was getting, I had an alias because I kept getting fucked with by the cops. Cops kept pulling me over, so I had an alias.
Why?
Because I was getting profiled like crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Growing up, yeah. I was just
Pomona or here?
Pomona, Chino, really. Chino was.
You're not that guy.
It's just they don't know. They don't know. We all look the same, so we must all act the same, I guess. But so I had an alias. So when I got into business, it was Marcus, and then when I went to go, I don't know what it was. I had Marcus Love, and that Marcus Love was cheesy, very porno. But then I was driving home from a set one day, and I was just curious about like changing it. So I told the director, the producer, that I wanted to change my name. He was like, "Well, what'd you come up with?" And I said, give me a minute, let me think. So I drove, and I was driving, Marcus this, Marcus that, Marcus. Then I said, well, put something before Marcus. And then it was like, Mr. Marcus. And then it just
Came to you.
Yeah, it came to me.
Cool.
Yeah.
There was I looked it up, there's a in a cartoon magazine in 1918. A guy named Mr. Marcus.
1918. Wow.
Right? Like this old whatever, right?
Wow.
It's not that big. You might look it up. I don't think it's the big deal. He just had a little.
Right.
But so this is the last question. I ask everybody this. In 2 words, can you describe your experience in the business?
2 words. That's funny. I always adventure. Always adventure.
We've never heard that one.
Yeah. Always adventure.
Adventurous or always
adventurous.
Okay.
But always adventure. It was always adventure. It's always.
It's a wonderful business, and I feel very lucky to be part of it. Thank you, Marcus, for coming.
Thank you, brother.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you, bro.
Nice to see you're healthy.
Yeah.
All right. You get back out. We'll have you.
Yeah.
We'll do it together.
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right.
I got you.
TTBoy TV out.